Good morning, everybody. Well, I got another nice big batch of 5.1s and some other things here surface finish for Ellie to stonewash today to keep the sharpening, assembly, and everything going on these GSO 5.1s while I'm up at heat treat today. So I'm looking forward to a cup of coffee here and getting on the road, but I wanted to give you guys a quick update, let you know everything's going really well here. And just also talk about here, we are going to have some factory seconds with these. And if you're interested in more in-depth information here, I'm going to have a quick conversation about some of what I'm seeing. I promise to bring you guys behind the scenes here and show you some of the things that go on in here and what's been affecting our standards and things. So I'm going to set up the tripod real quick. If you're just looking for an update, got lots of nice stuff. We got things over there being sharpened, assembled. We'll be doing a nice big update here over the weekend. But I wanted to talk about this real quick before I get on the road. So if you're just interested in more in-depth information on what becomes factory seconds, scrap, and different things, I would just want to have a different conversation with this. Just hang out a second. I'm going to set up the tripod and we're going to talk about some stuff. Stand by. All right, on to the informational portion. Right off the bat, I'd like to say if you have not already, please go watch our video on steel quality and why that matters. That's going to give a greater context to some of what I'm seeing. And I just want to have a little conversation here with you this morning because I surface finished over 100 parts yesterday so that we could keep production moving while I'm up at heat treat. There's lots going on here in the shop during the day, and I'm excited to show you guys that. We're going to do a production update, but right now we're going to talk about this. Of these 100 parts, 80 were GSO 5.1s. Of those 80, 15 had visible inclusions. They're not all bad, but that's 20% of what I surface finished yesterday. That's insane. And I just want to show you a few things. They're not all terrible, but it's starting to, I'm seeing where this is causing us issues, but I'm starting to lose confidence in some of this stuff, and I want to always stand behind everything. And I've always got your back. If I field it, I will stand behind it. But I hope you guys can understand in the face of this where we're aggressively moving to some more Bowler Udahome steels, and I'm realizing just how much of a difference this is making everywhere. And I'm going to talk about that here in a minute, but I need to get this off my chest first because we ask about factory seconds, how we come to those determinations, and there's some confusion. So now that I've got some options, we're back here in Gettysburg. I promised you we're going to be more transparent and explain some of this. So since I've got that boot off my neck, we're going to talk about this. So this is a doozy here. This blew out in surface finishing last night. And as I've stated before, our surface finishing process here is a compressive peen. I had my glove break last night, so I'm not white gloving any of this, so you're gonna have smudges and stuff, but I'll let you know what we're supposed to be looking at here. It's a compressive peen, so unlike an AO finish or anything where that creates darker grooves, I don't like that because it makes the parts more susceptible to corrosion, and it creates micro pitting, and it's less smooth, and it's just not a good durable finish. So we do a compressive peen as our base for our stonewash, so you get a nice satin stonewash. It normalizes everything, but it highlights any deficiencies. If there's any differences in hardness, densities, if there's something that's not homogeneous, it just comes out. So I don't think that's consistent with a CPM style steel. If you go look up CPM or Bowler's microclean process, this shouldn't even be possible. So I've got questions, and I'm going to have a little larger conversation just to start. Hopefully you can start asking questions in your mind too. So that blew out of there. So I don't really feel good about letting that out the door because we got that void blew out, and that was it. But you know, how do I decide who gets this? I've got a hard use community where professionals use our tools. So, you know, other than being annoying to a casual user or collector for having a aesthetic deficiency, I'm starting to wonder what else is going on inside some of these parts. And I always want to stand behind our tools, but when I start seeing ongoing bits of deficiencies, just run after run, this is alarming to me. So we're switching aggressively to some of these third generation particle steels where I'm seeing none of this. There's no abnormalities in these third generation particle steels, and my processes are verifying that. So we've got that, which was by far the worst in this particular instance, but I don't know. If you go another 2 thou, that might happen again. And that's what's alarming to me. In the other video, I've seen this at 190, at 170, in between while I'm grinding. So I know it's persistent throughout the sheet, and nobody at Crucible or Niagara is really reaching out and talking to me. We talked about some of this last year, and it just got dropped. And when I started talking publicly about it, the CEO up there just kind of lashed out and said that he gave us free material, which he did as part of another issue before the decarburization issue. These were quality issues I was seeing with material strain, part twisting, this type of stuff. So they comped us 4 sheets of CPM Magnacut, but then those materials also have deficiencies in them. And now I'm buying stuff from other places, these have deficiencies in them. So I don't really see that as a good warranty solve if you keep having deficient materials. That doesn't seem like it satisfies the warranty obligations, and it becomes a snake eating its own tail, and where they get frustrated because they think they're giving us free materials, but I continue beating them up about, no, there's deficiencies in these materials, so they get frustrated, and now they don't want to work with me. So I'm working through third parties, but I still don't believe all these materials are coming from the same place, no matter which supplier you buy it from. So I don't see where they're not still liable for warrantying this type of stuff. So we're going to talk about it, and I'm going to send all this stuff over and see what their position is. But, you know, these different things, sorry, they're random. Yeah. So down here in the bevel, that's a big hole in there. So being so close to the edge there, I don't feel like letting that out of here. You know, I don't know what else might be going on in there, and I don't want tools failing just suddenly. And I think that's sometimes where I might have some, you know, in that hard case abuse the hard use cases where something might roll or blow out randomly under that really high stress, where I'm a little surprised where I didn't think it should do that. And I think it is little things like this, where there's deficiencies inside the matrix of this steel that just rear their ugly head under these fringe circumstances. And I don't like it, because I know professionals use our tools, and this might not matter to a casual user. If you're like, oh darn, that blew out, I'll get a warranty. That's not an option for some people in some situations, and I take all this very seriously. So we've got that going on. Oh, this is obvious, yeah. So some of these, you know, if they're higher up and they look superficial, I'll let them leave the shop as factory seconds. But yeah, I've got some of these striations again. You can see that in our other video really well. I found good light to pick that up. But, you know, there's another inclusion. It's just ongoing. So they all had something. And like I said, they're not all terrible, but this is an ongoing thing. So there's another inclusion. There's another inclusion. And so what's weird to me is knowing how these materials are manufactured, this shouldn't even be possible. So we're having a conversation about it now that I've got some material options, and I know I'm not working directly with these folks anyway. So I don't like how they handle warranty. It's just like they act like they're doing you a favor if they give you anything, and it's like, here, peasant, and it doesn't feel like a real warranty. Anywhere else, if there's deficient materials, they'll replace the batch. And they act like, well, how many parts or how many pieces, how many pounds? And to me, the whole batch, or, you know, that batch of material needs to be looked at, not my sheet. These come out of bigger bars. So if there's deficiencies here, you know, if this was in any other industry, automotive, aerospace, mold making, this isn't an acceptable standard. There's polishability that needs to be happened. There's critical dimensions that need to be held. And I don't know why we have this terrible standard with, yeah, that's a real little one there. So factory second. But so I factory second these really minor things, because in these really tiny instances, I feel good about it, but I still want a higher level of traceability. So if there's anything that happens, I can look at that and understand that there was probably some little thing, and I can really look close at how it failed if it failed. Thankfully, we've had good judgment on this, so I don't get failures. That's, you know, if you look around online, our only complaint is delays. And I'm finding there's certain folks out there trying to turn the narrative into something else because I'm annoying to them in this industry. And I'm committed to this, and I'm going to start sharing this with you. You know, we don't have quality complaints online. And now that we're back here, we're getting some new materials. I'm finding out just how fast we can move in production when the materials are consistent. Look here, some of these were minor. get my fingerprints on it. Oh yeah, there's just another inclusion there. They're all, I like keeping an eye on this stuff and watching trends. I 100% inspect everything that leaves this shop. So that's minor, but that's, again, these are all down in the sheet. This isn't like roller damage or something. These are inconsistencies in the materials. Yeah, I'm getting heavier tiger stripey stuff there. Again, if you can't see that in the camera, go watch our longer video on steel quality and why it matters. So there's another inclusion down in the bevel. So to my mind, none of this should be possible. And as I'm doing the bowler steels with the same process, I'm seeing none of that. And I'm seeing now how this is affecting us elsewhere. Just these little inconsistencies. As we're moving into the bowler Udahome steels, I'm gonna explain in practical terms, aside from warranty, the parts are growing very consistently and very minimally. So we're able to hold even tighter tolerances. The uniformity of the steel is allowing me to grind them better. They grind more consistently in the annealed and hardened state. So, I mean, look at those damn finishes. Our edges are immaculate because that steel is homogeneous. It's everything that they say their material is, where they're saying this is the same stuff. And I feel like I'm paying filet mignon prices for rotten hamburger and being told to like it. And I don't appreciate that. I feel like I'm wasting my time. I'm wasting your guys' time. And we're wasting good based materials. These, I know we can do better because sometimes it's fine and other times it's terrible. So looking at this, the parts stay flat. We don't have the warping issues. I'm not having the irregular growth issues because the material is homogeneous. So even doing the fast quench, these third generation particle steels are designed for that. So where these twist up, they're not designed for that. They've got these little inconsistencies. They grow weird because it's not uniform inside. Where this, I'm able to hold great tolerances. And every aspect of this is more predictable. And all of this now that we're pushing in production is outpacing this because we've had to learn to carry this weight. So we didn't drown. We just started learning to swim with more and more weight. And now I'm realizing what that set us up for when we have an ideal circumstance. It's insane. So please understand why we're transitioning over to some of these materials fast. And, you know, I don't mean to upset you guys. I want the best for you. And I know we've made mistakes in the past. I know we have a backlog, but we're getting caught up quickly. And this is helping us do it. I'm able to take the time needed to make sure all this is right so you guys have that great experience like you see in the review videos and like I get feedback online and it's people are happy and you know you genuinely have a high quality knife. This isn't a marketing gimmick. I mean this. So yeah, I'm just impressed by this, but whew, this is all turning out amazing. The full flats, the Scandies, the Sabres, these look great. So I want to feel this good about everything that leaves our shop. And when I see high percentages of things like this, it worries me. So I'm being more and more transparent because when this happens, I never feel like this is advantageous to the small maker in how they want to warranty this stuff. And now looking at a greater thing here, you know, I start seeing trends, so I start looking around and thinking about stuff. So during the decarburization era here, you can go to Laren's articles and you can see that Peters Heat Treating was intimately involved in the development of CPM Magnacut. They ran a lot of heat treat samples. They did a lot of hardness testing that they used to create these values. So when the decarburization happened, I'm surprised because, you know, according to everybody over there, this was the most deeply researched steel ever in the history of everything. And then I start wondering, okay, if we didn't know by the time we're in production that a stress relief under this circumstance is going to cause gross decarburization, how did we come to all these values? How was this researched? How was this information verified? If all this is accurate, you know, according to this data sheet, Peters Heat Treat did nothing wrong. And I printed this out yesterday. This is still published on the daggone website over there. There's no updates about decarburization warnings or anything. And, you know, they learned that, I guess. But then I wonder, how do you know about annealing and all these things if you did all this testing, how were you not aware of this? Peter's heat treat was trying to handle other material strain issues, which I now believe are due to inconsistencies in the homogeneousness, I don't know, the uniformity of the alloy. I'm gonna look that up. I like words. So I think there's some inconsistencies in the uniformity of this alloy sometimes. So they were doing a stress relieve to try and address warping, and they were mistakenly, just accidentally decarburizing parts, but that was going on for a while, and they were talking to Niagara about it, and nobody knew what was going on until I come on the scene and lose my damn mind, and we got to figure it out. I'm good at studying and doing research, so I was damn sure what was going on with a little bit of research, and now I'm wondering, okay, if you didn't know that, did you just copy and paste all this from somewhere else? Because I got questions. How did you do this? So anyway, side note, I didn't ask for a stress relief, and that ruined like 20 couple sheets of materials. So, for the CEO of Niagara, his first official act when I first start talking publicly about this is to try to attack my character, because early on I had a business partner, and my first year in business, and he was supposed to run the business. I was supposed to do the knife stuff. That went terribly. So, the idea almost died right then, but we returned some S7, and I found it very telling that after 12 years, that was 12 years ago, the CEO of this multi-million-dollar company, he didn't address my concerns in the video. He attacked my character and pointed out that he had given us material, which, yeah, sure, you gave us 4 sheets. We lost 20 couple sheets of Magnacut in that thing, and then we had to handle it all. Nobody took care of that for us. And these materials are like $1,200 to $1,600 a sheet, depending on the thickness of that. And that's insane to just throw all that effort away and then have to just run out of it. I hope you guys can understand why I was so pushy with getting those parts fixed and getting those sold, because that killed all of our production. And then these larger companies, even with poorly published data where I think there's some liability there, they just say no. We already gave you a couple of sheets for this last issue. Well, so public opinion, does that alleviate you of other warranty things if, they tried to help us out? And I just don't understand. But I did find it telling, and then it reminded me a few years ago, a gentleman, he owns a knife supply website. He was noticing issues like this, and I happened to see it on a chat forum, and I thought, shit, we're finally gonna have this discussion. But what happened was he got ganged up on, discredited, and just pushed out of that chat thread, and then it was never talked about again. So when I see that, we're not addressing concerns, we're trying to maintain the prestige and the illusion of these high quality materials rather than actually bringing the bang. And when I see that people are going to start tearing other folks down if they've got feedback or they're trying to share something, that tells me something now. Now I'm on more of a mission for my own mental health here and for your quality well-being to get to the bottom of this, because now I believe there's something they know that they don't want to talk about. When you can't explain it and you start attacking people, now I'm suspicious. So we're getting transitioned over to Bowler Unhoden steels as quickly as possible. There is not one, other than a smudge or something, there's not been anything I can see with my eye with these materials. They heat treat very consistently. The hardenability is very consistent across the board. There's no irregular growth. They stay flat. All the things I've been struggling with are gone. So we've learned to deal with this. Now we're flying through this. So please understand, if you see some progress in some other areas, this is to help you. It's this predictability gives me the time to address all this and maintain our quality. So I do understand the frustration with the weight. I didn't understand they would have this position, especially in the face of that large issue. And I'm learning that these warranties are worth about as much as some chewed bubble gum on the bottom of my shoe. So I'm trying to be transparent here and see what they're gonna do, but we'll keep you in the loop, and I'll let you know what the final determinations are. But all these things start adding up, and I've got bigger questions. But I'll talk to you again soon here. I gotta get moving, but I hope you found this to be informative, and go watch some more other videos. We're putting out a lot of information now, and we're getting back to the core values of why I started this, and I'm feeling really, really good. Every time I can explain something thoroughly and be transparent about it, I feel a bit lighter, because I've been holding on to this for a long time, not having options, and just seeing how that you'll just get ripped apart online if you try and bring some of this stuff up. So now I'm making a video, and we can talk about it in a chat thread where it gets kind of one tone, but I can just show you stuff with through video. This is, believe your eyes. So anyway, I'm gonna get up there to Peter's Heat Treat, and we'll keep the updates coming, all right? We got a lot of fun stuff going on now, and I'm just so excited. So stop back often, all right?